स्नाइप अच्छा देगा
यूट्यूब पे भी स्ट्रीमिंग लाइव हो रही है।
तो बंद कर दिया, बंद कर।
हेलो डॉक्टर दास। कौन सी करते हो? अच्छा
अच्छा ये लो।
कर्नल रंजीत पर रिमझिम। आवाज आई
तुम्हारी नहीं जाने। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. Which means, O Almighty Deva, please make our path free of obstacles by extending your eternal blessings in all our thoughts and actions. A very warm welcome to one and all.
Good evening. On behalf of IIHMR Delhi, we extend a warm welcome to you all for the 11th Convocation ceremony. With a great pleasure, we all, from the director, the faculty and staff, extend our heartfelt greetings to all our distinguished guests, parents, students and well-wishers of IIHMR.
Good evening. Convocation ceremony holds a special place in every student's life. It stands for the hard work and toil, efforts and learning during these significant 2 years of professional learning. For the graduating batch today, 2018-2020, it is indeed a much awaited event, as it will mark a day in your life from where your professional journey will begin. During this unprecedented global coronavirus pandemic, this is the first ever batch who would experience a special virtual convocation.
Without further ado, let us progress with the ceremony, an event which everyone is keenly waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have amidst us respected and accomplished guests. With immense pleasure, we would like to welcome our honorable chief guest for the evening, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman, All India Council for Technical Education, New Delhi. AICTE is the statutory body and a national level council for technical education under the Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Human Resource Development. We are grateful and thankful to you, sir, for having taken off time to grace this occasion.
Today amongst us is another distinguished guest, Professor George DeBones, as the guest of honor for the evening. He hails from Stony Brook University, New York, USA. We welcome you, sir, and we are very thankful for your kind presence.
We are also privileged to welcome Dr. S.D. Gupta, Chairman IIHMR University and Trustee Secretary IIHMR Society.
With a huge round of applause, we welcome Professor Shankar Das, Director, Professor Pradeep Panda, Dean Academics and Student Affairs, Dr. A.K. Kokar, Dean Training, IIHMR Delhi, faculty, staff of the institute, parents and the graduating students. We begin this evening's proceedings by seeking the blessings of Almighty. We request you all to stand in the honor of Saraswati Vandana. Honorable Trustee Secretary Dr. S.D. Gupta, may I request you to declare the convocation open?
तो मैंने इतना सीरियसली बैठा
Hello. Hello.
होस्ट सेट अनम्यूट नहीं बोला अनम्यूट कर दिया मैंने
Have you done unmute? Okay. So I declare convocation open.
Thank you, sir.
We would now like to invite the guiding light of IIHMR, Delhi, Professor Shankar Das, Director IIHMR, for presenting the Director's State of Institute report. Professor Shankar Das has joined IIHMR Delhi in February 2020. He has illustrious academic background and studied and worked in many reputed institutes and universities in India and abroad. He has over 2.5 decades of experience in teaching, training, research, and human development practices in the field of public health and health management. Sir, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Anil Sastrapate. Guest of Honor, Professor George Lebovich, Trustee Secretary, IIHMR, Dr. S.D. Gupta, Dr. Pradeep Panda, Dean Academics, Dr. A.K. Khokar, Dean, Training and Development, faculty member, staff, distinguished guest, graduating student, current student, members of alumni, and other valuable guests. With great honor and privilege, I welcome each one of you to this auspicious and solemn occasion of 11th Convocation of the Institute. Today we are attending one of its kind virtual convocation for PGDHM batch for 2018-2020. During this unprecedented humanitarian crisis caused by COVID-19, we have tried our best to meet the challenge of pandemic by participating in the government initiative to fight the condition. At the same time, such an uncertainty it could not hamper our pursuit for the knowledge, research, innovation, and community outreach. Certainly, the pandemic has enabled us to look for innovative ways of delivering our program. We have effectively explored and successfully prepared for the virtual classroom by employing digital options. For now, we are using diversified platform for conducting online examination, Microsoft Teams for continuing our teaching learning process. We believe this unprecedented challenging time could also provide us unprecedented opportunities. We are a very young, but at the same time very vibrant institute. I'm extremely happy to report that in such a short span of time, the institute has created a very high visibility. We have been recognized for our high quality teaching, research, training in the diverse healthcare field. Today, IIHMR Delhi recommends 94 successful students for postgraduate diploma in hospital administration, health management, and healthcare IT. Their successful placement at a strategic health management position reflect the demand of our growing community. I offer my heartiest congratulations to each one other graduate student, parent, guardian for their sacrifices. I also express my gratitude to all my faculty members for their devotion and the time and successfully mentoring them. I express my sincere appreciation to all the staff of the institution for their untiring assistance and making IIHMR Delhi as an institute of excellence. We have dedicated placement cell, which focuses on summer training, campus placement for outgoing students, and liaising with employment agencies. During the last year, we have successfully placed our students in prestigious organizations such as CHI, Narayana Health, DCDC, NHSRC, Piramal Foundation, Fortis Healthcare, Deloitte, ILBS, Integra Venture, etc. Before the pandemic struck, we were able to place 91 students out of 94 with the highest package of 13.5 lakhs per annum. Last year, we had witnessed a great focus on building research initiative supported by funding from various national and international agencies. I think it is particularly impressive to note that the faculty from multidisciplinary collaborative research has successfully accomplished some of the evidence-based and policy-relevant research. Faculty members of the Institute have also actively involved in consultancy projects in various institutions and organizations. I offer my congratulations to the faculty member for getting this grant. I am sanguine the number of this extramural project will further increase during the next year. The Institute has conducted various types of studies, such as evaluation research, intervention studies, operation and policy research for the state, national, and international organizations. The thrust area of our research were evaluation of national health programs such as National Health Mission, Ayushman Bharat, Health and Wellness Center, Global Health, Climate Change, Universal Health Coverage, Health Emergencies and COVID, non-communicable diseases, and hospital research. We have also partnered in large-scale survey such as National Family Health Survey Round 5 with the funding support from USAID, DFID, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, UNICEF, UNFPA, and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. In the last year, some of our national and international collaborators and partners were ICMR, ICSSR, Central Pollution Control Board, Emergency and Resource Institute, Apollo Medical Science and Research, WHO, Johns Hopkins University, Stony Brook University, University of Warwick, Imperial College, UK. As regard to publication, we strongly believe in dissemination of knowledge through publication, seminar, conferences, which provide us opportunity to exchange our ideas with the scientific community. During the last 1 year, faculty member and student published in peer-reviewed journal, and many papers were presented in national and international seminar and conferences. The faculty published over 25 scientific papers in Scopus and high impact journals, written 4 chapters in edited books during the last year. It is particularly heartening to report 10 scientific articles were published by our student in an Indian Journal of Community Medicine. In addition, we have contributed several newspaper articles and widely published online educative blogs. We have extended our training and capacity building program to various national and international healthcare organizations and professionals, the response of which has been quite encouraging. We have effectively served our international partners and clients in various issues pertaining to public health emergency, hospital management, health information technology, leadership in health, and global health. Last year, we have organized several international training programs, to name a few. An international training course on health emergencies in large population was conducted in collaboration with the International Red Cross, WHO, National Institute of Disaster Management, wherein 24 participants from 9 countries attended this course. We organized a WHO-sponsored orientation program for hospital managers from Maldives. A 2-week WHO fellowship on health literacy program was organized for the partners from the Union of Myanmar. Another 2 weeks training on health planning and management was organized for 20 officials from the Ministry of Health and then local government institutions from Bangladesh. Under the aegis of Global Fund, IIHMR Delhi is currently hosting the Regional Coordination Secretariat in Southeast Asia Coordination Mechanism Forum for 11 member countries to eliminate tuberculosis and malaria. The faculty and students of the institute also organized and participated in numerous national and international workshops, seminar, conferences, meetings in the year 2019-2020. Some of the important thematic areas of the presentation and deliberations were public health career opportunity in India, air pollution and environmental health, cross-cultural perspective in urban and sustainable health, civil society engagement in coronavirus pandemic, climate change, disaster preparedness, and national response and strategies for coronavirus pandemic. Ever since the coronavirus pandemic threat began, as a part of our community response, the students and faculty enthusiastically led an outreach program in collaboration with Mahalla clinics for generating awareness and health and hygiene and social distancing in Goela community in New Delhi. Another significant area of our work were online psychosocial and mental health counseling for the student and general public during the prolonged lockdown. This initiative has received encouraging response from the student community and the general public alike. The Institute has also initiated various digital online activities, creating awareness in general public. We have conducted webinar series in many critical topics and for various target audiences. We have till date reached out to 10,500 to 15,000 active audiences. We will continue to engage in the fight against COVID-19 and collaborate and participate in the national COVID-19 initiatives and programs. I am happy to mention some of the award and recognitions of the institution. IIHMR Delhi has been recognized as a Center for Excellence for NCDC for Climate Change and Vulnerability. One of our faculty has received a Community Hero Award from the Johns Hopkins University. During the last year, a galaxy of top dignitaries, research scientists, academicians, diplomats from India and abroad visited the institution and shared their rich experiences. In conclusion, I take this opportunity to thank members of the Managing Board, Governing Board, Trustee Secretary for their persistent support, and I look forward to their guidance in the future endeavors. I also take this opportunity to thank my Dean, faculty members, colleagues, and staff, and everyone from IIHMR Delhi for their wonderful and support. Thank you, everybody, for being such a wonderful audience, and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Professor Shankadas. Now, as a token of appreciation for the time and valuable insight by our beloved Professor Sastra Buddin, We would like to offer this small memento as an effort of appreciation. We request Dr. S.D. Gupta to present memento to our chief guest, Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe. We request Professor Shankar Das, Director IIHMR, Delhi, to present memento to our guest of honor, Professor George Lebowitz, for guidance and valuable support and time. We will ensure that memento reaches you, sir, with all our regards and gratitude shortly. We request Dr. Pradeep Panda to present the memento to Dr. S.D. Gupta.
With this, we request Dr. S.D. Gupta, Trustee Secretary, IIHMR University, to give his presidential remarks. Dr. S.D. Gupta was appointed Chairman of IIHMR University in 2016. He has done pioneering work in creating and establishing new discipline of health management and promoting research in health policy and health systems and program management. He has chaired several committees on scientific research and health management. Dr. Gupta is the recipient of Coimbra Gold Standard Award 2009 for healthcare. We are happy to have you amongst us, sir.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much for inviting me to this very unique convocation. I'd like to welcome on behalf of IIHMR Management Board, Dr. Sahasrabuddhe and Professor Lebowitz to this convocation. This is our real pleasure to have you with us on this e-convocation. It is for the first time that in such very different situations, we are going ahead with organizing this convocation for graduating students from IIHMR. Well, I have been associated with IIHMR since the inception in 1984, and it's almost 35 years I have been associated and being part of its development and growth, and see through how hospital management, health management, pharmaceutical management, and healthcare IT management become important disciplines in this country and this part of the world. So this IIHMR is a very unique organization, and the International Institute of Health Management Research is one of the important campuses of the IIHMR Society. Way back about 12 years, we established this international institute, basically addressing the needs of international healthcare arena, working on, so we have 3 campuses, one at Jaipur, the second is in Delhi, and the other one is in Bangalore. So Jaipur campus became a university now named as IIHMR University. Then IIHMR Delhi, and then IIHMR Bangalore. We offer a very unique program. We were the first to offer this hospital management and health management. So postgraduate diploma in hospital and health management. And Dr. Sahasrabuddhe would be very happy to know that this program was the first to be recognized by the AICTE in 1996 as a postgraduate program. And we are so thankful to AICTE for this very important initiative they allowed us to do. Now we have been able to produce 3,500 management graduates specialized in the health sector management. Graduates are now in Ayushman Bharat. Graduates are now in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Graduates are in state health departments of various states. Graduates have also very intensely worked with the big 4 consulting organizations, Pricewaterhouse, Deloitte, Ernst & Young's, and KPMG. So you will find them everywhere. They have also been very very resourceful to the WHO, UNICEF,
Oh,
and
God.
various other
दुनिया तो साड़ी
organizations.
पहन के बैठी.
So, and I would say this 3,500 odd specialized managers and leaders in healthcare, I should say today, after its inception in 1996, so in almost 25 years, they have transformed the management of hospitals, health systems, and consulting and research in the health sector. So I'm very proud of it. And Dr. Sahasrabudhe, again, I would like to inform you that we started with our purpose to improve the standards of health of the people through management, education, research, and training. And by and large, you heard Dr. Das, we are very fortunate that we could realize our mission and our dreams in the last 35 years. So we are so very delighted about it. Now, I have said so much about IIHMR. Just I wanted to share with Dr. Sahasrabudhe and other guests that what IIHMR is and what it has been doing. That was the purpose. Now I'd like to come to our graduating students. I think this is a very special day for our graduating students. They may not be here physically, but we'll definitely get them on the campus physically as soon as we come out of the COVID situation. So let me at the outset congratulate all of them. I'll also like to congratulate Dr. Das, Dr. Panda, Dr. Khokhar, and the faculty members whose hard work has enabled these students to pass with flying colors this year. So, but message for students that is very, very important. I would like to share with the graduating students that you are passing out from an institution that has a legacy, that is unique, and that has really pioneered a new discipline over the last 35 years. So what is one very important thing that you have to carry with you is the legacy of the institution from where you are passing out. And be attached, be connected with the alma mater always. Because if you look at world's most famous universities and biggest universities, I want to share with you all that it is the alma mater that makes the institutions and universities great. And they have such a strong alumni base and they are connected with them for years and years. So my suggestion to you will be remain connected with your alma mater and keep on contributing. These institutions are known by its faculty and by its students. So you are our flag bearer, and I believe you will carry the legacy as you have got it from your predecessors. This is your first job. And there is no job that is mean. Many of you might have you might have got a very good salary. Some of you might have got a very minimal salary. But I must congratulate you that all of you got a job. And the first job is very, very important. Don't take it lightly. Work hard. Commit yourself to this. And learn and gain experience for at least 2 years. Don't jump around from here and there. This is the trends that we see, that students who graduate and in next 6 months, they change their jobs and next job and next job. I wish to share with you as an employer, this is a negative point for us as employer, that how many jobs you have changed in last 2 years or 5 years. If you have changed so many jobs in last 5 years, you are no good. So please first get your experience for at least 2 years, and whatever salary you have, but then I can assure you in next 2 years, you will be very precious people, because you will be joining the band of leaders who are managing healthcare in this country. The other thing that I wish to share with you is that be optimistic and positive in your perspective. Don't leave hopes. Rather, you are there to create hopes. And the legacy has been like this. IIHMR graduates are known for their commitment and hard work. And one thing they don't know is to say no. So that is something they are known for, and you give them work in the evening and by tomorrow morning they deliver it. That is a kind of the image that your predecessors have created, but that can happen only when you are hopeful about yourself, you are optimistic, and you have a positive thinking. You have to create hopes for yourself as well as those whom you serve. Another important thing is the integrity. Integrity is something that is so important. You are very hardworking, you are committed, you are very knowledgeable, but your integrity is doubtful. You won't survive in the organization. You will not survive among your peers. So integrity is something that we have to maintain, and not only maintain, but also demonstrate that you have high integrity levels. And I would say that it's not that once you get a job, you are happy doing that job forever. After 5 years, you will think that you should move up. You must go to the next level. And also from knowledge wise, you must move up. Now, this is where you have to continuously keep your eyes and ears open. Keep on reading, keep on increasing your knowledge, do more courses. Now you have online courses which are available free of cost. So keep on increasing your knowledge, focus your own personal growth. This personal growth will happen only when you learn and learn. But very important thing, in the process of your personal growth, don't forget the organization for which you work. So you have to deliver to them. And very important thing that I want to say to be successful in your job, in your future career, is your behavior. Interpersonal behavior is very, very important in the organization. It might sound trivial advice, why I'm talking about behavior, but I can tell you, as the chairman of a university or the director of IIHMR or trustee secretary of all campuses, what we are looking for, we need competent and highly knowledgeable people, experienced people, but definitely we don't want arrogant people. So we have to learn to maintain good relationships. We need to have good interpersonal behavior skills, and that is very, very important to create a positive environment for yourself. And that will not only keep you happy, but your learning curve will go further up. People will, your bosses will let you learn, or they will make you learn through the experience with them. Be respectful to your colleagues, your seniors, respect and maintain the dignity of the opinion, freedom of the opinion, expression. You may agree, you may disagree, but learn to respect the opinion of people. Learn to maintain the dignity of everyone you come across, whether lowest in the ladder or on the top of the ladder. So dignity is very, very important. You need to maintain your own as well as your colleagues, your seniors, your fellow subordinates. That is very, very important. And then finally, what is the need of the profession today? I have been associated with COVID pandemic prevention and control with the government of Rajasthan. And now you see Rajasthan is a model now in COVID prevention and control. It has the lowest number of the cases. The recovery rate is as high as 80%, and we have been able to flatten the curve in Rajasthan. So what is this Rajasthan model? I think this is what you use your knowledge and skills. So as an epidemiologist, the skills that I developed 30 years back at the Johns Hopkins University. This was the opportunity for me to help my state
Yeah, Chand, बैठिए साड़ी पहन बांध के.
to see through that we are able to control this and demonstrate that the science can help. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening address. You have always been a guiding light to IIHMR. Thank you, sir, for all the practical guidance. I hope all the graduating students will keep this in mind. Thank you.
It is an immense pleasure to welcome the chief guest, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman AICTE New Delhi. Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, in his illustrious career of 31 years, held several important academic, research, and administrative positions. He started his career as scientific officer at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in 1983, and moved to Tata Consulting Engineers as engineer in the same year. As an academician and researcher in NERIS and IIT Guwahati, and as an administrator in the capacity of Director, COEP, he has taken up several new initiatives for academic, curricular, and co-curricular activities, entrepreneurship, research, and good governance. Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe is presently working as chairman of AICTE, an expert member on various national level committees. Some of these include Chairman, Basic Scientific Research, Empowered Committee of UGC, SWAM Board, and Chairman BOG of NIT Itanagar. He was awarded with Maha Entrepreneur Award 2011 of Praj Industries, Pune, for his leadership and innovative abilities in the area of technology development and entrepreneurship initiatives. We welcome you, sir, with huge round of applause to deliver the convocation address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm indeed delighted to be here on the occasion of the graduation ceremony of Indian Institute of Health Management and Research. We have on the web dais, I think we have to use new terminologies. On the web dais, our guest of honor, Dr. George Lebovi, Professor S.T. Gupta, Professor Shankar Das, Director, and Professor Pradeep Panda, and all other graduating students, their parents and guardians, and faculty members. It's really indeed an exciting time for anyone who is graduating from an institution to go out in the life outside. And Professor S.T. Gupta, in his eloquent address, absolutely told what all is required to be done just after you leave the institution. It's a wonderful, eloquent speech, sir. I was very impressed. We also give convocation addresses, but in a nutshell, in very short time, you gave the mantra of life. That is what I look at. But I would like to deal with some other issues as well, along with what you have said. Some of them will be probably reiterated. In our ancient philosophy of graduation ceremony in Taittiriya Upanishad, there used to be exactly these words, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, and Swadhyayan Ma Pramadaha. That means you have to be always be truthful, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, that is you be professional. Dharma is not religion here. This is about the profession which you are going to follow. You have to be honest to that. That honesty and integrity and the values are most important. That means if you are in the management of health sector, please do your best to that profession with all integrity and honesty. And that is the second part. The third one is more important. Swadhyaya is self-study and lifelong learning. See, we are now inventing these words from the West, actually. See, we are experiential learning. Then we have project-based learning. We call it as flipped coursework. Or we also call lifelong learning and also what is known as the constant learning or lifelong learning. I think all of these were embedded already there. And also in terms of, I do not know health management, I am not so much well-versed, but recently MHRD decided to have what is known as Indian Knowledge Systems to be developed as an entirely new division within MHRD, and AICT has been given a lead role of hosting that in our office because they saw a beautiful big building. MHRD itself has a small building, so they thought it is an ideal place. Moreover, some passionate people are there here. So we are going what is known as Bharatiya Dhyana Parampara. So Indian Knowledge Systems Division will operate from AICT. So one of the very important knowledge systems of India is in terms of for health is both yoga and Ayurveda. I think both of them are very, very important. And Charaka Samhita talks about entire philosophy of management of the health education. And therefore, health administration is a very important thing. And especially during COVID-19 time, when we are meeting in such a situation, I should have been on the campus. We should have had a dais which was shared by all of us. And our students who are graduating, they must have received certificates from our hands. But unfortunately, we are all meeting here. But forget about negatives of that. We should look at positives from out of that. And many times our convocation halls are small, that is the auditorium. And many times we say that only graduating students are allowed to sit inside and all the parents and guardians, you be outside, and on a screen you watch. Now this is like level playing field. Both students, guardians, parents, faculty, and also the vice chancellor, whatever director and the guests, they're all sitting in the web platform. So I think this is like equalizer or equality being established in some sense. So I think this is in a lighter vein, but nevertheless very, very important. But what is significant is during this entire COVID-19 crisis in the last 3 months, what we have observed is people have come forward for helping each other. I think it is a phenomenal humanity that is at its best. We have seen people helping people in terms of providing food, accommodation, sometimes transport, medical health care, and you rightly pointed about now counseling and psychological problems that are likely to emerge very soon because human beings are absolutely social animals. Unlike other animal world kingdom, various other species, our Homo sapiens are used to socializing, whether it is a birthday party, the marriage, the religious functions, the cultural organization, cultural functions. There can be drama, dance, music. I think unlike any other animal, they only go together in herds only for hunting or to be safe. Human beings are the only ones who have a variety of activities where we want to be associated with each other. And if you are locked down for about 3 months, 4 months, it is almost like many people say that we are almost like in jail. And therefore, when they come out and start mingling with people, there may be, and there are likely to be a lot of psychological problems with many people, including faculty, students, staff. So counseling our people is also very important. And this is where, again, health administration comes in handy. Next one, during this crisis, as I said, many people did help each other. Most important thing is about technical institutions. I'm talking about many universities and colleges where we have a variety of the equipment available. They made best use of all that in order to create an excellent framework for production and helping each other. For example, I'm talking about masks and how different 3D printing machines were used for creating masks. People came out with variety of ventilators which were fabricated by using 3D printing machines. We have had sanitizers produced in chemistry laboratories. We have all variety of medical equipment requirement, including PPEs, and some of the kits for testing for COVID. So if we have got all this wherewithal, I'm sure that health administration, which you are all looking at, and great institution which has been helping people to understand that, and we require such people in every hospital, in every nook and corner of the country. The number of people that you are producing, probably we are in great shortage, because healthcare is one thing which in a developing country like ours is very significant and important to be catapulted. And that is where IIHMR is doing a great job. Both director as well as Dr. Gupta in their addresses did mention about research publications that the institution has been doing and doing phenomenally good work. I congratulate both faculty and students who have been doing wonderfully well in this respect. I come to another signal and another aspect, that is in hospital administration. While people are trained in postgraduate diploma in management, it may be hospital, health, and other specializations may be there. But one of the significant things is there are variety of technology-based equipment, whether it is X-ray machine, whether it is CT scanner, whether it is you check for blood or the urine testing, and all of these machines, they are purchased from very top-end companies and are put in practice. Many times those people do come when there is a problem. But I think there is a marriage between medical health side and engineering required in order to create new variety of equipment on the one side and to maintain these equipment in the perfect condition. Because many times I think I'm very unhappy when I go to X hospital and get myself tested, the report says something. Within 1 day or 2 days, I go to another hospital and get myself tested. The report sometimes is completely different. I think whether in 2 days my whole physiology got changed, or whether that equipment in one of the two places was not in order. This question mark gets arisen. And therefore, like in our engineering, especially consultancy services, which our civil engineering friends in engineering colleges do, we use a machine called universal testing machine. And this machine is like Lakshmi for all these engineering colleges. It's a college is a Saraswati, but the UTM, the universal testing machine is a Lakshmi. Because all testing for building materials, whether it is concrete, whether it is your steel, whether it is bricks, they are all tested on this machine. And to verify that the quality of the product or the material is okay, you require to get a certificate. And without that, you cannot really build a building. And therefore, they charge heavy money and they earn money out of that. And therefore, whether the results from out of that are correct or not to be checked, every year, the machine is required to be calibrated. In National Physical Laboratory, for example, we have for measuring length, we have a meter scale. For measuring weight and mass, you have a kilogram. For that, a mass is available. And this is all compared once in a while with what is kept in Paris in a laboratory there. So we have this comparison between Paris to Indian Physical Laboratory in Delhi, and from this National Physical Laboratory to different states. So there is a methodology of calibration at level 1, level 2, and so on. So do we all do this in the practice of medical profession? And sometimes there are doubts, actually. So we all depend on the private company which has sold this particular equipment, and we go by the readings that we get. And therefore, possibly, we need a clinical engineer who will be able to not only maintain the machine in the right order, we will have the output which is very good, and therefore hospital administration requires different other facets to be also looked at. The next one I'm talking about is how, again, marriage of technology and health science, health administration can work together in terms of emerging technologies. The new emerging technologies which we talk about in engineering, especially those who are in computer science and electronics and those who work with sensors of variety, they all talk about AI, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, machine learning, 3D printing. You have the robotics. You require all of these things in the today's medical science. There are also remotely operated operations which are done. An expert doctor sitting in one place can operate using a robot on the other side, and the commands are given from the doctor's computer, and it goes and reaches there, and you can conduct an operation as well. Of course, this is in still nascent stage, not exhaustively used, but nevertheless, whether it is robotics, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is Internet of Things where machine to machine joining or machine to human beings, I think all of these are possibilities of the future. And therefore, there are two sectors where all that what is happening in high-end technology is useful. In one of them is medical science and health administration or healthcare. And the second one is agriculture. I think these are two fundamental things other than education. See, we're all in education sector. We all give importance to education, but other than education, if something is very important for humanity, it is agriculture and healthcare. I think you are in one of those important domains, and you have a cross section between both health as well as education. See, you represent two facets, so you have all the more importance actually, and therefore all that what our students have learned from this institution, when they go out, I'm sure that they will be ethical, they will be value-based, and create a new world order where there is not only peace, prosperity, happiness all around. And in future, if there is any COVID-19 type of crisis, I think we can face it with much more confidence than what we have done now. I think this is very, 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 very important. And therefore, all the Corona warriors which we talk about, whether it is nurses or whether it is doctors or healthcare workers, all of them, you are one component of that, and therefore I congratulate all the degree holders, those who have got the postgraduate diploma right now, and all the best for all of them as well as for the institution in the future. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate you for such an encouraging and enlightening address. I am sure all we have learned a great deal of professional lessons through your speech. Now, we would like to welcome our guest of honor, Professor George Lebowitz. Professor George Lebowitz is an expert in mental health and substance addiction and negative impact of these drugs. Professor Lebowitz has been working as a substance abuse assessment and treatment across the lifespan. He serves as cluster leader for Stony Brook University, New York, USA. Sir is working in Stony Brook University on a PCORI grant investigating the integration of evidence-supported behavioral health and primary care services. Additionally, he has researched trauma and its correlates to socio-emotional behavioral issues among adolescents and sexually abusive youth. Life force health and mental health issues are some other issues among incarcerated populations. Currently, Professor Lebowitz is the principal investigator on HRSA's Behavioral Health Workforce Education and Training Grant at Stony Brook University, New York, USA. We request you, sir, to kindly address the graduating students and all the viewers.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here and to be an invited guest. It is an utmost pleasure of mine to see at the convocation table there, Dr. Das, who is a longtime friend and colleague, along with his colleagues at IIHMR. As you wonderfully introduced, my research and teaching focuses on the social determinants of health, traumatic stress, post-traumatic stress, addictions, and mental health. As we have heard from all of you colleagues here at IIHMR, how important those issues are at this point. I am very, very, very pleased to have a number of collaborative research projects with Dr. Das, and now I'm looking forward to the newest collaboration between IIHMR and Stony Brook University. On a personal note, Dr. Das also helped me understand ragas and how to play the tabla a little better with the limitations that go along with a Western mind. No doubt you have already heard several times, all of you, as well trained to work in the healthcare sector, that you are graduating at an extremely challenging, stressful, and unprecedented time. As Dr. Das aptly stated, with the potential for opportunities in education and research, as well as enhancement in clinical practice that include telemedicine and telebehavioral health to reach the most marginalized and isolated populations. All of you in India and in New Delhi and other areas are certainly well acquainted with how difficult it is to reach marginalized, medically underserved and isolated populations. And they are desperately in need of your expertise in health technology, health management, hospital administration, with an emphasis on awareness of health disparities and social inequity. I congratulate you for your academic achievements at IIHMR and commend you for your courage and resilience in joining the workforce in the government sector and with NGOs and a number of medical settings in the Indian communities. You may have heard, most of you, that in the US, there are over 2.5 million people that have been infected with the virus. At least 125,000 have died, and there are 10 million infected or impacted directly and indirectly globally. You may have heard in the area that I work, New York City has been considered the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic, although many states now have seen another wave with the increase in the number of cases. And indeed, there is a confluence of the pandemic and racism and violence impacting African Americans and other groups and people of color, notably with the killing of George Floyd and many other people at the hands of law enforcement in our communities. This is all coupled with health disparities and the fact that people of color are disproportionately impacted by the virus and related health conditions, important for all of you graduates to understand. In the US, we are aware that the situation with COVID in New Delhi is dire. In the news, there is so much we have learned, for example, about how Kerala, and now I'm hearing about Rajasthan, handled the pandemic. I recently traveled to Kerala in February before the number of cases and the effects of the pandemic were intensified, and had an opportunity and pleasure to be able to see those communities, and in Mumbai as well. The common elements which have been noted by the IIHMR board here that shown to be effective include increased testing, screening, distancing, physical distancing in particular, providing support, allaying fears, building trust and integrity between healthcare professions and the communities, spreading positive messages, not negative ones, disputing false rumors about the virus itself and in terms of its transmission and treatment, and encouraging people to make efforts that make a difference. All of you as graduates are highly equipped to do this. The philosopher Immanuel Kant referred to something known as the moral law within. In any nation short of a dictatorship, as some form of moral compact, implicit or explicit, that should be the basis of any just society. Without a common sense of what is right, groups fracture and fragments wander. Science and knowledge can guide action, they do not cause action. As healthcare professionals, we must consider the social determinants of health, conditions such as birth and early childhood, education, work, the social circumstances of our elders, a collection of elements of community resilience, such as transportation, housing, security, a sense of community self-efficacy, and cross-cutting all of these, what some researchers call fairness, which generally amounts to sufficient redistribution of wealth and income to ensure social and economic security and basic equity. I know that IIHMR has prepared you well. We have cataloged social determinants at an even much finer grain now, calling out, for example, interpersonal violence, community violence, gun violence, social isolation and loneliness, environmental toxins, and a dozen more causes that impact overall health and well-being. In New York City, there's a metaphor that's sometimes cited that has to do with social and health disparities. It is known as the subway map, view of life expectancy. Those many people in New York City commute by train and subway, as many do in India. And it showed essentially that the expected lifespan of people who reside in the neighborhoods of a train or a subway stop in different parts of the city directly are associated with the level of economic and social inequality. So for example, from Midtown Manhattan, which is much more affluent compared to other areas of the city, to the South Bronx in New York City, with social and economic resources are dramatically different, the life expectancy itself declines by 10 years. In other words, a 6-month decline for every minute of travel on the subway system. Epidemiological and clinical research has shown that children exposed to adverse childhood experiences increase the risk for post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety and depression, and overall identification of early life stress. Associated epigenetic risk factors can help advance prevention efforts and therapeutic interventions. The pandemic now presents a particularly challenge to individuals with co-occurring mental health and substance use disorders, for example, due to vulnerabilities in respiratory health and risk for negative outcomes. Additionally, the outbreak of the disease is associated with a higher prevalence of traumatic stress among quarantine persons, with varying responses and coping strategies. All of you as graduates will need to understand this complex landscape. When we consider the pandemic, we realize that risk itself and an assessment of risk is quite subjective. It will never again be absolutely safe. You may have heard these terms about the new normal. It is a relative term. And collectively, our mental health wasn't so great at baseline, quite honestly. PTSD and depression were highly prevalent prior to the pandemic. One thing we have learned, and many people here in the healthcare sectors in the US have certainly realized this, that we should not tell people not to panic. Telling people not to panic can activate things in the central nervous system known as fight or flight in the face of trauma, and that we need to nurture resilience instead and address chronic stress in ourselves and among our patients and in our communities. So I don't need to tell all of you what persistent high levels of stress do at various levels, including the biological level, that gene expression and activation will change itself in response to stress. The brain itself has profound changes. Such changes can be transmitted epigenetically, that is from generation to generation. And that self-care today is the most compassionate thing we can do, not only for ourselves, but the well-being of our future generations. Stress, we know also, is not inherently bad or damaging. Chronic stress without recovery is. So that negative beliefs in one study that has to do with the stress impacting health, in the case that patients, 43% of them were more likely to have higher mortality rates and to die if they believed their perception of stress was such that it was bad for their health. So that maintaining health, all the things that we've just heard, nutrition, sleep, exercise, yoga, developing some connection to spiritual life, being with nature, learning new things, and having everything that has to do with factors that contribute to wellness is very, very important. And pediatricians working in Shanxi province in China develop strategies around resilience, as many other places around the world have. And pediatricians, for example, suggest to parents, increase communication with your children, address fears and concerns to alleviate loneliness, encourage physical activity, musical forms of therapy, and singing to reduce worry, fear, and stress. They also learned to work with their kids to maintain sleep hygiene and practice relaxation methods like meditation. As I reflect on my own career as an educator and consider all of the IIHMR graduates as you begin your journey, I think of another philosopher, Viktor Frankl, who spent time in the concentration camps during World War II. And he documented those experiences in Auschwitz and wrote about the optimism in the face of pain in a book that he wrote called A Man's Search for Meaning. He writes, "It is we ourselves must answer the question of life asks of us. And to these questions, we respond only by being responsible for our existence. And the meaning of your own life is to help others find meaning in theirs." In a study by Johns Hopkins University, 78% of graduating students indicated that their first goal was to find meaning in life, to nurture resilience that includes individual, family, community, and cultural dimensions. As you graduate and begin your career and consider the wise advice of Dr. Das, Dr. Gupta, and many of your esteemed faculty and colleagues here, And as you work to educate your patients and your clients, you may realize that they are not waiting themselves to be filled with knowledge that you impart. The choices people make are complex, both actively and passively around their health and self-care. You know, diet, exercise, medication adherence, smoking, lifestyle, and so on. It includes a value base and life changes, particularly salient now during the pandemic. You will be working to help clients achieve behavior change, which will be very challenging and more especially humbling than I had ever imagined myself. Secondly, information is not something we can simply consume in an automatic receptive state, like being an infant being fed. Information needs to be digested and metabolized. It can't be multitasked. It can't be farmed out to other people to do this for us. As graduating students, you are now equipped to go do this. The moment when you graduate is now, when the most important part of your education is actually beginning. So some imparting remarks and recommendations about actively, intentionally, and regularly practicing self-care as you embark on your healthcare career in a variety of domains, seeking renewal and inspiration. So there are 5 essential elements of this that Habafil and colleagues have written about in terms of coping during mass trauma intervention. 1 is to establish a sense of safety, sustain physical health and safety, use sources of accurate medical information and guidance, and protect against something called infodemic, an influx of information that's hard to sift through and understand. 2nd, calming and self-regulate. Regularly practice self-regulatory exercises and self-renewing behaviors. 3rd, support some community efficacy. Do what you can in your communities and stay focused and committed with integrity, as you have heard today. 4th, connect with yourself and others. Create moments of connection with groups. Identify who needs more, because we know that we're all grieving in many ways now, globally. 5th, and perhaps most important, is to nurture hope and resilience. Develop a sense of learned hopefulness in yourself and others. Be forward-thinking and celebrate small victories. I thank you very much for the honor of taking part in this convocation ceremony. It has been a delight, and I look forward to our future collaborations between IIHMR and Stony Brook University. Thank you again. Namaste.
Thank you, sir, for giving us an enlightening address. Moving ahead to the most awaited time for our graduating students, we request Professor Pradeep Panda, Dean Academics, IIHMR New Delhi, to confer the students with their degree. Professor Panda is a head economist and a demographer with significant experience in teaching, research, and consultancy. He has been the principal investigator and project director of several important national level studies. He also has published many recent papers in reputed journals.
The International Institute of Health Management Research Delhi recommends 57 students in the postgraduate diploma in hospital management, 30 students in postgraduate diploma in health management, and 7 students in the postgraduate diploma in healthcare IT. All together, 49 students have satisfactorily fulfilled all the academic requirements of the institution, and they may be conferred with the said postgraduate diploma equivalent to MBA.
Honorable and distinguished dignitaries of this evening, Chief Guest Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, Guest of Honor Professor George Lebovich, Trustee Secretary Dr. S.D. Gupta, Director Professor Shankar Das, Dean Training Dr. A.K. Khokar, colleagues, guests, friends, and students. It is my pleasure and proud privilege to honor our students with the award of the PGDHM in my capacity as academic dean. It has indeed been a fruitful journey together over the past several months, steeped in learning, sharing, and mutual understanding. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to tide over the barriers and preside over one of the important landmarks in the student's career. I wish them abundance of good luck and blessings throughout. With immense pleasure, let me announce the names of the graduating students from the hospital management stream. Dr. Aishwarya Tolani, Dr. Aitan Naim, Ms. Akanksha Gupta, Mr. Akshit Jain, Mr. Alok Ranjan Malik, Mr. Ankit Debra, Ms. Anupama Bharti, Lieutenant Colonel Arun Pratap Singh, Ms. Arundhati Bora, Ms. Chetna Tyagi, Ms. Devasrita Das, Dr. Deepali Saini, Dr. Girinder Kalia, Ms. Harsin Kaur Arora, Dr. Jasmine Rajpal, Mr. Kumar Saurabh, Ms. Mamta Sinha, Dr. Mansi Bhola, Ms. Manvi Kausik, Mr. Navneet Kumar, Dr. Neha Mehta, Ms. Neha Jha, Dr. Nikita Sherawat, Ms. Nitika, Mr. Pranay Singh, Dr. Pratishtha Jaiswal, Colonel Praveen Singh, Dr. Priya Vyas, Mr. Rajat Jain, Dr. Ritika Dhingra, Dr. Rohit Kumar, Ms. Seloni Sharma, Dr. Sandeep Gaur, Lieutenant Colonel Sanjay Kumar, Colonel Sanjay Chawla, Mrs. Shalini Mishra, Ms. Sania Ali, Ms. Sharon M. Matthew, Mr. Shubham Rawat, Ms. Simran Narang, Ms. Sonia, Ms. Stuti Pathak, Colonel Sumit Pant, Ms. Umang Bansal, Lieutenant Colonel Vikram Singh Bilawariya, Dr. Binita Dhankar, Mr. Aman Sharma, Ms. Palu, Dr. Nisu Rani, Dr. Amit Kumar Yadav, Dr. Shikha Kaushik, Ms. Usha Sharma, Mr. Atul Malik, Ms. Sagun Parashar, Ms. Divya Nepal, Ms. Priyansha Sakshay. Let me now announce the names of the graduating students from Health Management stream. Mr. Abhishek Jain, Dr. Akriti Jamwal, Dr. Anjali Khandelwal, Mr. Ankit Kumar, Ms. Ankita Lal, Ms. Isha, Ms. Ishwin Kaur, Dr. Kamal, Ms. Manisha Thakur, Ms. Mansi Chauhan, Dr. Megha Bansal, Dr. Nidhi Priya, Dr. Nupur Gar, Dr. Priya, Dr. Priyanka Sepat, Mr. Rahul Abhijit, Colonel Ranjit K, Ms. Rimjim Misra, Dr. Shakhi Ruhil, Dr. Sibani Ralan, Dr. Sonam Sambhya, Ms. Surabhi Pandey, Ms. Tamanna Sajdeka, Ms. Tamanna Mittal, Dr. Tosi Sekhar, Ms. Vaisali Goyal, Ms. Ritika Kumari, Mr. Raghav Bharadwaj, Dr. Priyanka, Mr. Anup Chaudhary. Finally, let me announce the names of the graduating students from Health Information Technology stream. Ms. Aditi Kumari, Ms. Komal Bharti, Ms. Rasi Singhal, Ms. Isanaka Joyshri, Dr. Sibani Sharma, Ms. Simarjot Kaur, Ms. Sonali Kumari. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all the students. Now for the names we have all been eagerly waiting for, the highest academic performance rewards. I would request Professor Shankar Das, Director IIHMR Delhi, to please come on the dais and announce the gold medalists.
We have reached a very special segment of the convocation ceremony. With utmost pleasure, I would invite the gold medalist of this academic year, Dr. P.D. Agarwal Memorial Gold Medal was awarded year after year, and this year too, for the best student in health, hospital, and health IT stream in recognition of their academic excellence, and to honor the memory of our founder, Dr. Sri Prabhu Dayal Agarwal. We dedicated the award to the visionary who made difference in the industry as in a social sphere. This award stands for his superior benchmark and high ideal and the principle for which he stood in his luminous life. We at IIHMR consider ourselves extremely fortunate to be guided by his standard values and principles. The Sri P.D. Agarwal Memorial Gold Medal for the best all-round performance for PGDHM 2018-2020 goes to Ms. Rimji Misra. Sri P.D. Agarwal Memorial Gold Medal for the outstanding academic performance in PGDHM in health management in 2018-2020 goes to Ms. Rimji Misra. Sri P.D. Agarwal Memorial Gold Medal for the outstanding academic performance in PGDH health information technology goes to Dr. Ishanka Sai Josri. Sri P.D. Agarwal Memorial Gold Medal for outstanding academic performance for the hospital administration in 2018-2020 goes to Ms. Devasrita Das. We have two winners in the same hospital batch. Next prize goes to Sri P.D. Agarwal Memorial Gold Medal for the outstanding academic performance in the hospital management goes to 2018-2020 goes to Dr. Mansi Gola.
We would request degree recipients to take the oath along with Dr. A.K. Khokar. Professor Dr. A.K. Khokar has been teaching in the Hospital and Health Administration at the International Institute of Health Management Research, Delhi, since August 2012. Previously, he has worked with ESIC and retired after 37 years of dedicated service. He is a medical graduate with 4 post-graduations in the field of healthcare administration and hospital administration. I request students and faculty to rise from their seats, stretch their arm parallel to ground, and repeat the oath after Dr. A.K. Khokar.
Yes, dear students, as she has already told you, may I request all of you to keep your arm like this at the right time, the present condition, and along with me take this pledge. As a health, hospital and health IT professional, I embrace my sacred duty to protect and promote the health of society. I believe that working for the health of population is more than an employment. It's a calling to public service. I do hereby swear and affirm that I would serve and commit myself to the following professional obligations. I'll manage my enterprise with loyalty and care and will not advance my personal interests at the expense of my enterprise or the society. I respect individual values, cultures, and rights dignity of the patients and clients that I serve. I'll strive to work both to prevent disease and promote good health. I'll work with utmost care to ensure that my work is timely, open to review, and responsive to the client's needs, values, and priorities. I'll always respect and strive to protect confidential information given to me. I will refrain from corruption, unfair competition, or business practices harmful to society. I strive hard to develop myself and others, helping the health management profession continue to advance and develop. And lastly, I will remain accountable to my peers and society for my actions and for upholding these standards. Thank you.
I request Dr. A.K. Khokar to please propose the vote of thanks. So,
Respected dignitaries, invited guests, parents of students, the relatives sitting by themselves, dear students, our faculty, staff members. It's my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this important occasion. Let me first of all convey my thanks and gratitude to our chief guest, Professor Anil Sarsabude, Chairman ICT, for sparing his valuable time to address our students. Sir, your address was insightful and one that inspires hope, optimism, and pride for all of us. Our sincere thanks to Professor George Lewis from Stony Brook University, New York, for accepting to grace this occasion. Sir, your advice and your address we respect and we follow the thoughtful things you have addressed. Thank you for coming to this important function. We extend our sincere thanks and our gratitude to Dr. S.T. Gupta, our Trustee Secretary and Chairman IIHMR University, Jaipur, for his presence and his continuing guidance on various activities of our institute. My sincere thanks to all those dignitaries who are attending this function from Bangalore, IIHMR and IIHMR University, Jaipur. Our director, Professor Shankar Das, has been personally supervising the minute details of each and every activity and has worked very hard to make it a success. We thank you, sir. I extend my sincere thanks to all esteemed guests, parents of students, friends, and other dignitaries who joined our celebrations. My special thanks to Dean Academics, Dr. Pradeep Panda, our faculty and staff members for making this function a success. Now, to my fellow graduates, I congratulate all of you for having spent a wonderful period of 2 years with us. We are sure that you will be in touch with us as our IIHMR Delhi alumni and support the activities of IIHMR Delhi. May God bless you in all your future endeavors and guide you to success in all spheres of life. Once again, let me thank one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request Dr. S.D. Gupta to please declare the convocation closed.
Thank you, Dr. Sahasrabudhe, and thank you, Dr. Lebovich. Thank you, Dr. Das, faculty, and dear students and parents being part with this convocation and this important ceremony. Now this is the time to declare it closed. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. We request the audience to please stand up in the honor of National Anthem.
Congratulations.
Thanks to all of you.
Thank you very much.